Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Controllers and Coffee. It's a pretty special episode today. We're going to be running through the amazing Xbox showcase that we just got a few days ago. I've got some very special guests with me as well. I have Scopic down below. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Thanks for joining. And
Thanks for having me.
Deft Puppiez from...
Hi.
Hey, man. From Two Left Thumbs podcast and streaming fame.
Yes, all my acclaimed streaming is here with me.
Before we kick off, let's do a bit of, I guess, introductions to people who may not have seen you before. Scopic, what do you do?
Well, I do, mate. I just try to look good on the internet, pretty much.
Sweet, nailing it.
Basically, mate, just I've been getting into a little bit more of unboxing stuff on YouTube lately. Like to check out, some of the new games, stream those. Generally over on Twitch. We've just moved over, obviously, after Mix's closure.
Yeah.
Actually, also been checking out Facebook gaming.
Oh, nice.
Over the last week, and yeah, that's been good. So.
Yeah, awesome. How are you finding it on Facebook? Like, what's the kind of, I guess, community like, and the platform itself?
It's been really good so far, to be honest, man. I was a little bit hesitant, obviously, it's Facebook.
Yes, very cool.
But yeah, no, the community's been really, really lovely so far. Obviously, get to meet different people with that as well. And yeah, actually the reach of it's fantastic too. So yeah, it's been really good. Yeah, it's been really good. Nice.
Puppies, tell us about yourself.
So I host a little podcast called Two Left Thumbs with the buddy of mine, Grey Gamer, which is how we met originally.
It is, yes.
I also do the streaming on the Twitch like a few days a week. Used to do a mixer and we got exiled, so here we are.
Yeah, that's pretty full on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. But yeah, so just the streaming on the Twitch and the podcast is pretty well all I do.
Yeah.
Nothing else. That's all I live for.
Nice.
How I live and breathe.
Awesome. What do you mainly kind of play when you stream? Anything in particular?
Anything. I've been really pushing variety the last couple of years. Right now, midway through Ghost of Tsushima. I just finished up playing through the entire Uncharted series. I've been catching up on PlayStation stuff the last few, because I got a PlayStation late last year.
Yeah.
And so I've been catching up on all the exclusives. So God of War, Spider-Man. So
Nice.
I'm almost there. I've got to get through Horizon Zero Dawn, but I'm waiting for the PC launch for that, because I got the game on PS4 and it's coming to PC. I'm like, oh really? Yes, please.
Yeah, I've been playing through a bit of stuff. Like, I played God of War when it released, but I hadn't played Horizon until I just finished it like a few weeks ago, and playing through Final Fantasy a bit as well, and now I'm on Ghost of Tsushima as well. And oh man, that game is wonderful. I love it.
I'm in love with it.
Yeah, it's so
It is so good.
It's so beautiful, and it's just so, like, I don't know, chill and relaxing to just cruise around, and such a nice world to explore.
Isn't it?
It's such a weird thing, because like it has every other generic kind of trope that all the open world games have. Like they're all there. Like there's your lookouts, there's your clearing your post, but for some reason doing it the way they've done it, or maybe it's just because you've been a badass samurai, it makes it feel like you're totally okay with it. So, I'm just gonna go and clear out this encampment again. But it's perfectly okay, because it's a lot of fun to do it.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the most satisfying combats in an open world game that I've played in a long time.
Yes,
yeah,
totally.
definitely.
I was about to say that, like going into a a bandit camp or whatever, like a Mongol territory thing. It's like I don't get bored of it, because it's just so enjoyable. If I want to go sneaky, like the stealth is really fun, and it's like it's not slow, which I really like. You can kind of creep around quite quickly, and then if you want to get in a fight, it's so enjoyable and so much fun. So I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. I think I've got to get back to it. I finished Act 1, and then I've just been clearing out the bottom side of the map before even doing any missions. It's really great. Yeah.
I've just finished fully liberating that area, so I'm on to just started on Act 2 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've got like two more 2 more points of interest in the map before I've got it 100% cleared. And then I've just started Act 2 as well, so the main missions are there. I'm just kind of putting them off while I do clear out the bottom island first, because otherwise I'll never go back down south. So
that's what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah,
it's like if
I don't move my way up the map.
If I don't do it now, I won't do it. But yeah, it is so much fun. Well, from PlayStation to Xbox, we had the big old Xbox Games Showcase last Friday morning at 2 a.m. or something like that. Did you guys watch it live?
I did.
Yeah, I did in the end as well. I was like, I'm just going to stay.
I saw you thinking about it. You're like, I don't know. I'll catch it in the morning.
And I it was like midnight.
It's only 2 hours.
Midnight.
Fine.
My missus is like, we should probably stay up and watch it. And I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it. I'll get 4 hours of sleep before work. It's fine. All right, well, I think let's run through kind of, top to bottom in chronological order of what they showed. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the pre-show with Jeff Keighley. I thought it was a bit shit. It was fine, but I think the people he got on mostly didn't seem to really know anything about Xbox and really weren't passionate about the games or very knowledgeable. There are a couple of people who knew what they were talking about. Was there anything from the pre-show that you guys were interested in or kind of stood out to you at all?
The pre-show I missed entirely, so
you didn't miss much.
I was still busy. Yeah, I was like, they're gonna release some world exclusive. I'm like, I'll catch that on YouTube. I'd rather just watch the bulk of the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was sort of, I didn't catch a lot of it. I caught bits and pieces. But yeah, I sort of had a similar feeling to you that didn't seem to. There was a few people saying they were going to skip Halo or something or other like that. So I was just like, okay.
Yeah. It's like,
why you on no idea what you're talking about.
Why are you on an Xbox show again? I'm not sure.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. And then they went on about that Balan Wonderworld game, and they all called it Wonderland, and it was like, did you guys even watch the trailer? What is going on? All right, well, no. Xbox kicked it off with the first gameplay reveal for Halo Infinite. There's been a lot of, I guess, discussion online about, the quality of the lighting and the graphics and just, negative discourse as usual. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the gameplay looked phenomenal. It looked really, really fun and really, it looked like Halo, which is, what we expect. Puppies, give us your kind of thoughts and your, I guess, history of Halo. Are you much of a Halo player? What did you think of this demo?
So, I've been playing Halo since CE. It was actually the first game I owned on Xbox. I bought an Xbox for Halo CE. So I've never been a big multiplayer fan. I mean, I enjoy it, but it was nothing. I was always kind of into the campaign. I think I played CE over 30 times because one of the very few games I had, and I just set ridiculous challenges for myself, do melee only runs on hard and all that kind of stuff. Just punish myself entirely. But so I've always I've been there for every Halo game. I've enjoyed them for the most part. They've had a few ups and downs. I wasn't as much into 4.
Okay.
It was a bit off for me. But yeah, so I've played them all. And it looked okay. I can't see the big issue everyone has with the graphics. I think they looked fine. I mean, the art direction was a little. It seemed off. You're looking at it and something didn't seem right. It almost seemed kind of cartoony.
Yeah,
the way the textures were coming off, and that's what the art direction they were, because it looked good. It just didn't quite look right from what we would have been expecting.
I do agree. Especially I think Halo 5 was such a graphical showcase, but so many people, it seems so many people in the community kind of didn't like the direction the design was going in with I don't know, the kind of changes to the Forerunner structures and the changes to Master Chief, and it's they've almost gone too far back. But I mean, yeah, it does have a weird style. Scopic, what about yourself?
Look, I really enjoyed it. I definitely could see what people are talking about in the sense that you could see there was obviously a graphic. It seemed like a graphic drop in certain areas, but I still think the game looked overall fairly well. That opening scene I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
The ship coming in and that first moment, going from seeing Chief to going into the first person view. I think that was fantastic. I loved what seemed very openness of the map. I think that was great. I think that sort of welcomed probably into Halo a little bit too. Sort of rather than just being that very linear style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's been a few things that they've said. It was an older build.
Yes.
I think, and I'm pretty confident too. From what I remember, and I think I may have seen that on Twitter today or yesterday. I think Gears 5 even had looked a little bit off when they first showed it.
Right.
And they had upped the graphics by the time the game was releasing. They seem to be showing an older build and then, and then upping the graphics, which is, in my opinion, probably not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think that's a really good
I'd
point.
rather be impressed at launch and then impressed on a trailer than disappointed at launch.
Absolutely. It's something I read online 100%. As well. It's like, would you prefer an upgrade at launch or a downgrade? And it's like, well, I think totally I would prefer it to come out and look phenomenal.
100%.
Yeah, instead of, say a Watch Dogs situation or something where it's just like comes out looking absolutely terrible in comparison to what they showed. Gameplay wise, I thought it looked really cool with new additions. Like, I think there was a new some form of new rifle by the looks of things, a few new kind of brute weapons, and obviously traversal with the grappling hook and stuff.
That grappling hook, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I guess I'm not I started playing Halo at like ODST, so I'm not like a Halo purist, I guess is a good word for it. So I don't care about things like sprint and like, some abilities are fine, some are just useless, but I've never been one who's like totally against something like sprint. So seeing things that kind of change the gameplay and, even the ability to throw things back at your enemies and, like the grapple obviously and the shield that he throws out, like that's handy, especially in a world where like it is more open now. So there's going to be more kind of sandbox traversal, so you might be able to get somewhere using something like the grappling hook. I think is a great addition to the gameplay.
Yeah, 100%.
With it being an old build, I really hope that apparently there's going to be a ray tracing patch at launch, which is odd that it after launch.
Was that at launch? I know they were talking about after launch.
Yeah,
maybe they were going to work on it, but it wasn't a priority or something.
Something like that, yeah. Which is weird. Yeah. But I mean, the gameplay. Solid.
We have to look at the where we are in the point of graphics as well in video games. We're starting to see diminishing returns.
Yes.
So we're at a point where all the games are going to look pretty good, and there will be a few games that will do a few tricks to make them look better. But I think I'd rather see an evolution in the world and the gameplay more than just like the same old gameplay is just prettier.
Yes.
Yeah. I
for sure.
agree there. Yeah. That's the one thing that sort of I'm really hoping to see more of is more like, more things happening in the environments, more, the environments being more full and things going on all the time. I think that I would rather that over, them trying to get the graphics
better lighting or
perfect.
something. Yeah. And Halo's always been about that sandbox thing, especially like, in multiplayer and stuff. Like there's so much creativity. I think having that open landscape, even if it's not traditional open world, I think is add a lot to that. Plus, hopefully, the story's excellent, and that's kind of one of my favorite things about Halo is the sci-fi story. Yeah,
definitely. There's a mission in one of the older Halo games. I can't remember which one. It might have been 1 or 2, where you dropped it. I think you're on the ring, and you dropped in. You've got 3 different locations to go to. And you can kind of pick and choose which location you're going to in which order, and it doesn't really matter that much. I have a feeling that's what we're going to be seeing, but with the entire mission structure. So you go, all right, here's your next stages. I mean, we've seen it with recently with Ghost of Tsushima as well, where it's all right, here's your 3 missions you've got for this segment. You can choose which order you do them in, or you can do some side stuff. And I think that's cool. Yeah. It's something different for Halo, which has always been very traditionally very linear. So giving the players choice like that can make for some interesting times.
Yes. What do you guys think, like, on the because they mentioned too, didn't they, in the regards of it being the last standalone game and it's going to be like a platform itself? Like, did you guys sort of like take that as possibly they're just going to keep building on this game and then no other things coming out, aside from that? Or
yeah, I think that's a really interesting way for them to take it, because like, does that? Yeah, they never really do expansions for Halo, like story expansions. They support multiplayer for a long time. I think that has the potential to, add a lot of story over time to the single player campaign. As well as doing, multiplayer for a long term. It's probably a good thing, because they can kind of iterate on, especially if it's going to be all set on the one Halo. I think that'd be really cool. And it's like someone was saying the other day, it's, they want to support it for 10 years. Well, Halo 5's been supported, it's not getting anything anymore, but like it's been around for 5 years. People are still playing it. So 10 years doesn't seem that kind of out of the realm of possibility if they continue to support it through all that, especially after developing a new engine and everything. I think it'd be really cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I definitely go like, maybe they're going to go with like they're going to take a leaf from Bungie's book and go with the Destiny route, where they'll just add story expansions. I mean, hopefully they don't let the game bloat as much as Destiny 2 did. They'll find an effective way to kind of either sunset content or rotate it out somehow. But that'd be cool, I think that's what we're going to be seeing with this newer generation, especially with like games like this from Xbox. Because I got kind of vibes from that from Forza as well, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
But where it's the numbers have dropped. We don't have numbers anymore, and I think we're just going to see add-ons, DLCs, stuff like that. I don't think it would go full live service, but I think it'll be very much a living, breathing world that they just keep building on.
Yep. Yeah. Especially because, like, even though they're single-player campaigns that you can play with friends, it's not, it doesn't appear to be, like, changing the way that, the weapon system works and kind of just pick up a weapon and use it and then throw it away and then pick up another weapon. There doesn't seem to be a gear and loot system, which I'm super glad with. I don't want it to become another, Destiny, but it being supported long term, I think is a really good plan.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right. Well, next was State of Decay 3, which had a pretty cool CG trailer. I'm gonna guess a few years away. I've not played either of them. I've watched a little bit of the first one. A mate used to play it quite often. This I guess has potential now that Undead Labs are going to be fully backed by the finance of Microsoft. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, well, for me, it actually shocked me that it was State of Decay 3. To be honest,
me too.
That whole, it was a very nice clip, CGI trailer. It definitely looks like it has some potential there. So yeah, I'll be really interested to see how they build from State of Decay 2, which I played for a little bit and I enjoyed for the most part. But yeah, I'll be really interested to see now that they've got full AAA, status going into that game, how it's going to improve and what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
Puppies,
any thoughts?
I watched my wife play the absolute crap out of State of Decay 2. I played it for a bit. I couldn't get into it though. I found it to be a really buggy experience for myself, and really kind of slow and drudgy. So hopefully they fix their bugs. I mean, I would love to see that game with the kind of maybe not as good. I don't know if it's possible, but the kind of fidelity that the trailer showed.
That's exactly what I said in my latest video.
That would be so cool. Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not unbelievable that, say, in 3 years, if that game releases, say, in 3 years, that, you know, the power they can get out of the Series X and PCs will be enough to kind of make that possible, especially when something like The Last of Us looks the way it does. And I know it's a completely different type of game, but that's running on current gen hardware. You know, we probably can't even, you know, really imagine what the end of next generation will look like, considering how much games have evolved in the 7 years that this generation's been around. So yeah, if it looks that good, oh man, that's that would be hectic.
Yeah.
100%.
All right.
Sorry,
no,
the animals is the animals is a nice touch too.
Yes.
Having something other than humans to fight against will be interesting, especially how they kind of if they work the lore into it as well. That'll be really, really cool. Especially if we get like different ranges of animals. God, I mean, I hate aerial enemies in every game, but zombie birds would be just so much fun to play with.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, and you mentioned it before, but Forza Motorsport dropping the numbered moniker from it, showing off just so much reflective surfaces to show off ray tracing. That looks
so shiny,
beautiful. I'm a big Forza fan. I loved Forza 7 a lot, and I just love, you know, track racing is always been something I really enjoy. And Turn 10 just have this knack for making beautiful, beautiful games. Like what they did with Forza 7 on the 1X, being kind of the first game Microsoft were pushing as like 4K 60 frames, even though I think it was, you know, not quite 4K all the time, like dynamic resolution. This looks amazing. Scopic, are you much of a racer?
I'm not a huge racer. I'll jump in and play them now and then. I've definitely played a lot more of the Horizon series than the straight up Motorsport series. But yeah, definitely still a beautiful looking game for sure.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Puppies, what about you?
I'm more of a crasher personally.
Burnout's your thing.
I played the most recent Forza. It was good. I want to get that Lego expansion though. Just
it's really fun. It is really, really fun. Yeah.
But it looked. I mean, racing games have always been like. There's always one at the launch or close to launch, and they're always like the big technical. Hey, look what we can do with this. And I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw reflections on reflections in there. So they're doing work.
They are. It's like everything was shined up to the max, and like the floor was so like shiny, and every car they showed was just like, you know, super reflective. It looks stunning. If that's, you know, and it said in-engine, and I don't doubt Turn 10 to make something that is really harnessing that power. They said it was, I think at the bottom of the logo and the end of the trailer, it said it was Xbox Series X and PC only. So, you know, with Microsoft saying up until, you know, the first year or two of the Series X that they'll be supporting Xbox One, I think it's pretty safe to assume that a lot of these games that we were seeing, Siri's talking to me, a lot of these games we were seeing are a couple of years away at least, and they said it was early in development. So it could be a while, but I think it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful game when it does eventually come out.
Definitely. Hopefully they can, maybe just for the PC side thing. I know Xbox don't have any VR tech really going at the moment, but I know a lot of the sim racing community are kind of screaming out for like native VR in there to kind of really kind of bring the immersion in. I think that's going to be a big seller if they can get that to work.
I didn't think of that. That'd be really cool because, you know, they obviously have the PC platform. You know, this partnership with Facebook, I know it's just around Mixer, but, you know, they could be talking to them about Oculus and, that'd be interesting to see. Next one. This, I'm really excited for this game now after seeing this trailer. Rare's Everwild. This looks just stunning. I have no idea what this game is about. I have no idea if you're just like saving animals in the wild or something like that, because it didn't seem to have much of a I don't know, like a combat focus or anything in the 2 trailers we've seen, but dear Lord, it looks stunning. Again, Series X and PC only. Yeah, anyone got thoughts on this looker?
I'd like to know what it is. Like, it looks beautiful. I think there was a part when the person was moving. It kind of looked like they were like bending, like they were puppeteering the animals or commanding them through like Avatar style animal bending, I guess. But so maybe you can tame and command them, and you just say it looks like a very non-violent game, which is good to see. It's something different. But I want to see what like the kind of how the game flow works, because I mean it looks gorgeous. We knew that from the last kind of trailer we saw of it earlier on. But I'd like to see something from the game. But I know it's still kind of early, but just kind of some information on how we'll be interacting with the world at least.
Yeah. I sort of felt I think similar in the sense that it looks definitely very interesting, but sort of probably need to know a little bit more. But definitely it's something on the radar for sure.
Yeah, it's very unique, that's for sure. Like it's such a like cartoony art style, or like I don't know if cartoony is the right word, but like then some of the details on like the animal's fur, and when those rocks fall in front of them when they're like walking up the mountain, like the level of detail is actually really like almost realistic, but it's such a stylized art design. I think it's very cool, very interesting looking.
100%
title. Okay, so next one is the first kind of it's not third party because they're billing it as Xbox Game Studios, because I think it's Xbox Publishing or whatever, is Tell Me Why from Don't Nod. I don't know if you guys have played Life is Strange or what else did they make? They made something else, but I haven't played any of them, although I do like a good narrative game. This looks like it's probably pretty close to release. I don't think it had a release date on it though.
No, I don't think much did. I've played one or two of the those games, and they're good. I mean, they always they're obviously narrative driven, and they've always had really interesting stories. So as long as they're keeping that up, now the art style hasn't varied a lot. Maybe I like to see some like improvements in the gameplay mechanics, because some of them have always kind of been a little bit wonky,
right?
And maybe like a little bit more interactivity as well. But I mean, they're always a good story, and they're usually quite enjoyable to play. Something you can kind of relax to and really to kind of get into that story. But yeah, some gameplay improvements is what I'd really like to see, because I know they can be quite all over the place,
bit janky.
I haven't played any of those series, so it's probably something that's not really much knowledge there from me. I think all these games are going to be on Game Pass. It's probably something I'll check out. I kind of want to play Life is Strange, but it's always something that's like in my backlog, and then I look at and I'm like, not today. Even though I know I'd probably enjoy the story. Okay, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, just quickly, is going to be 4K and 120 frames per second on Xbox Series X. I think this is awesome. It's a bit odd because it couldn't even really run at 60 smoothly on the Xbox One X, but that's pretty cool. That's I think one of the first games that's probably going to be attempting to hit 4K 120 is Ori, which I love. I love Ori. It's a phenomenal game. And then, all right, so I think this was my favorite kind of section of the show, was when Fergus Urquhart from Obsidian came out and kind of gave us the big announcements and reveals and stuff. Outer Worlds is getting a DLC or expansion, they're calling it, on September the 9th, called Peril on Gorgon. It seems like a bit of a mystery, like almost a murder mystery kind of thing, and lots of intrigue and probably great writing and hilarious moments. I'm incredibly excited for this. Outer Worlds was one of my favorite games from last year.
Did you guys play it?
Yeah, I loved Outer Worlds. Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Outer Worlds is great. More Outer Worlds is good Outer Worlds. So we're set. I love the tone seemed a little bit different. But in a good way. It seemed a little more upbeat. Or maybe it was music, but the way it was kind of presented. Yeah, but I'm excited. It's not part of Game Pass though. I think it was the one thing that wasn't.
True.
It was like
very good
the base game is, but you still need to buy this DLC. Like this is not on Game Pass, which is fine. You know, that's how Game Passes works. You want the DLC, you buy it yourself. And that's kind of how it works for the developers. They kind of make that money off the DLC. But yeah, definitely we'll be getting that for sure.
I think $15 or something like that, which is
absolute
pretty
bargain.
Reasonable. Yeah. I am very excited to see where this goes, and it's super close. It's almost been, I think it was October last year that Outer Worlds came out, so it would have almost been a year. But it's cool that they're doing it, and there is a second expansion apparently coming after this as well. So,
nice.
The more Outer Worlds, I think, the better. I think it's a great series and has so much potential as well.
I think what's really good about the series as well is because it's so far restricted to a few planets, they can just keep pushing. If they want to just continue on, they go, all right, new galaxy, new planet. So there's lots of room to play there, especially for story and exploring different kinds of worlds and stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah, 100%.
Because there were even, I think, planets or space stations or planets that you couldn't go to that were on the kind of galaxy map in the Outer Worlds. So Gorgon wasn't one of them. I think Gorgon's just an asteroid. But yeah, you're right. They can kind of just go, well, now we're going to a new system, or there's something further out or something like that. And I think it has a lot of potential. Grounded was their other one, multiplayer little survival game, which is coming to early access and Xbox insiders, I think tomorrow. Yeah,
tomorrow.
Awesome.
My boys are very excited to play it. I played the beta for this one. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I think a lot of the fun, or not beta, was more of a demo. Most of the fun came from the fact that you had a 30-minute timer to get as far as you could. And you keep going, and he's like, all right, so I've learnt the mechanics. All right, we go do this, we do this. And you see how far you can push it out, and then you get the 30 minutes. No, I can get further. I know I can. It was brilliant.
That's awesome.
But this game looks great. It had great sense of humor. The little call out for Cyberpunk there was hilarious.
Yeah,
That's so good.
Hilarious.
That's such an Obsidian thing, isn't it? Like, even saying like a game that we've never, like the kind of game we've never made before. It's like, yeah, well, fair. So I really love that they can express themselves in a completely different genre with a small team. And it looks loads of fun. I'm excited to try it out because I didn't play that demo.
Yep.
Okay, and then the big one, and this is probably just like the best announcement from the show, and possibly the coolest thing that they could have done. Even though it was a very, very short trailer, a little teaser. Avowed is
very excited.
The game we've heard a lot of rumors about, seen some of the character artists renders of these just gorgeous, high resolution, very realistic, photorealistic designs of some characters and some skeletons, which is pretty much what we saw in that trailer. When it kind of cut to first person view, I think I was just like, oh my god, the little hand thing with the spell. I was just like, yeah, I'm fucking sold. Give me that shit
Let's
now.
go.
Yeah.
Obsidian seem to be really gunning after Bethesda at the moment. First they come out with a better Fallout game, and now it looks like they're going to come out with a better kind of Skyrim-esque game as well.
What do you reckon? Will this come out before Elder Scrolls 6?
It'll come out at the same time.
Yeah, you're probably right. Oh my god. They'll get some insider information and release it on the same day.
It'd be very interesting. So I still think it's probably, 2-3 years away, you reckon?
Easy.
I think it mentioned it was only Xbox and PC as well. So
yeah. I think
Yeah, it'll be a few years out for sure.
Series X, I should say. I should clarify.
Yes, yeah. I think just judging by like the fact that they just released Outer Worlds, and apparently this has been worked like in I guess pre-development for a little while, but I dare say this will be like 2023, maybe even 2024, which like I'm totally fine with them taking their time, but knowing that it's on the horizon, like I know some people don't like seeing a trailer this far out, but I liked the fact that Xbox were kind of, I guess, game enough to show like this is the future of the console, even though like Halo's coming this year, there's some other things coming kind of next year. We don't really know when a lot of it's coming out, but this is what's coming in 2, 3, maybe even 4 years time, to keep people obviously on Game Pass, but to make people realize that there is stuff coming for this new console that they're going to buy, or PC, of course.
Yeah,
that's always been the thing with like E3 conferences, and this is kind of almost replacing.
Absolutely.
It's like, all right, here's what we've got coming this year, and here's a few that are we're working on now. They're a while out, but we want you to know that these are coming because we're in this. So it's good. I don't want to see much more on it now until we can start seeing some gameplay and stuff, and maybe a story trailer. But well keen for it. It looks amazing.
Set in the Pillars of Eternity universe as well, which is very exciting because I think it's probably so fleshed out that they can spend time creating the story around the world that's already got this really rich lore. Instead of spending 2 years just creating a world to house this game in. I think that's very cool. And it's probably going to get a lot of people in if they're fans of Pillars. But I think people are just fans of Obsidian in general. So that's exciting. I think one thing I thought was really cool was, I would assume that trailer's CG, especially like the opening
Oh, it'd have
part.
to be, yeah.
But when that kind of arrow falls into the cave and then like the player stands up, it's really like reminiscent of how the lighting worked in that Unreal demo. The way like the rocks looked super realistic, and light reflected off everything and bounced around. I think they're kind of, because they are using Unreal, and I would assume they're going to be using Unreal 5. They're probably like, this is what we want the game to look like. And I think that is very, very exciting, and a big pressure on Bethesda because, we still haven't even seen more of Starfield, and that was the one that was meant to be closer to release. So Elder Scrolls 6 has got some tough competition, which is probably good because the reason they haven't fixed any of their issues in the last decade.
Might make Bethesda pick up their game for a change, which would be nice. They've had a couple of rough years now with Fallout 76, and so now if they've got another competitor coming out that's like directly taking on their game or the games that they've been doing, it's going to be really good. It's going to be a real good kick up the arse to kind of get them motivated to push for a better game, and competition makes everything better. So
absolutely. As Dusk Falls was that weird, almost like rotoscoped, narrative game. It was like very odd art style. I don't know if you guys remember this one. I don't know. The developer was like,
I'm still trying to remember.
It was like in the southwest of the US or something like that. There was like, I can't remember.
Oh,
exactly. Yeah.
I think that's going to be another interactive narrative one, I think. But it looked cool. I love the art style. It was interesting.
Really unique art style.
Yeah. It was almost like a water brush kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that it's a new development team or something like that. Interior Night or Int Night. I don't know. Weird name. They kind of put a lot of focus on it. Like they showed the developers and stuff. which was
Maybe it's because it's a new studio. They're like, all right, they like we'll introduce them and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because no one's really familiar with them, which is always a good idea.
Yeah, I think the support for like the small teams and the big teams was cool in this showcase as well. They kind of show a bit of everything. We got a little bit of information about Hellblade 2, but no gameplay, no trailer. Apparently, it's going to be set in Iceland. Sorry, Scopic, go ahead.
Iceland.
Yeah, no, that was one that actually really shocked me that we didn't see more of. I was really when that came up, I was like, oh great, we get to see more of this. And then I was actually quite shocked that they didn't show anything other than just like sort of announcing it again. Because we had that really awesome trailer that they originally dropped. So
yeah.
I mean, I probably I understand, I guess, that obviously this whole COVID thing has slowed a lot of stuff down. But yeah, that was probably one that actually shocked me that we didn't see more.
Yeah,
I was kind of bummed I didn't see any gameplay either. I was really looking forward to seeing more because that first trailer they dropped was absolutely amazing.
Oh, it was stunning.
And yeah, I wanted to see more, and it's cool. It was kind of weird that they just kind of gave us the developer diary and said go to this YouTube channel. It kind of felt a bit out, but
yeah. That apparently is also Series X and PC only, and I thought that would have been like next year's big title, but
yeah, I thought it would have been closer to launch.
I think,
or maybe it'll be one of the first ones that'll be like that exclusive between Series X and PC.
And their wording on that was like 1 to 2 years, and now it's kind of like the developers can choose, which I'm a bit confused by, and I think maybe they're regretting saying it. Maybe their games have kind of are really struggling to run on the Xbox One. So I don't know. It's a weird timeline to try and think, like, is it going to be, say November next year, so a year after the Series X launches? Is it going to be like, it's Hellblade and it's only on Series X? I think people would, be a bit taken aback by that, especially because their messaging, it's like, we don't want generational split like usual. It's a tough one.
Did they end up clarifying that at some point? Was that during the showcase or after, where they said games are going to basically be built for the Series X, but then backtrack to work with the older consoles for the next couple of years? I think
that was after the show. I don't know if that was in an interview or just on like Aaron Greenberg on Twitter or something like that.
Yeah, it might have been that was on Twitter.
Yeah, which I think that's a good way for them to go about it, because like, there's so much talk about like the design choices of games being like, hindered by the old hardware. Maybe if they can scale it back and make it work on old hardware, great. But I think
I'm kind of wondering with this how they might end up doing it, and this is just a complete guess, but I think as of, is it September, X.Cloud goes live with Game Pass, and it's going to be included. So if you've already got that and you've got an old Xbox, could potentially then you can just be playing those games still on your old Xbox via X.Cloud, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
it's streaming it to the box as opposed to playing it natively there.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, but it's going to be like the options that they're looking at for still supporting the old consoles.
The problem with that is I know that X.Cloud isn't coming to everywhere at launch either. Like, I know we won't be getting it for sure. And them doing that specifically for that early on would leave a lot of people out and wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but maybe 12 months.
Working towards, something that they're working towards. Maybe it's an option.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'd be very, very surprised if in 12 months, 2 years' time, there wasn't an X.Cloud app on Xbox One, and then you could just play anything on Game Pass just through that. I think like that would be really awesome as well, like to be able to play Series X games that way. I really hope it, like, because at the moment I know it's only on mobile. I assume eventually it'll be available on PC like Stadia is, and even to like it'd be awesome if you could get it on like Apple TV or Chromecast as like an app like Netflix or something, where you can kind of just download it and then connect your controller to it. Because even like the Apple TV has controller support for Xbox controllers and DualShock now. So to be able to hook that up and go to the xCloud app on your Apple TV would be awesome, because then you could play it on your big TV kind of without having a console, or like go to a friend's house and download the xCloud app on their Apple TV and play games on there as well. I think that has huge potential to still be a console-like experience playing on the couch, but being able to play it anywhere you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw an app on the Switch within 2 years. I think, especially with Microsoft and Nintendo they've been working together a lot lately. I think that's what Xbox are moving towards, is just having an app that you can like download, whether it be on Stadia or an Apple TV or Switch. I mean, maybe they might even get the PlayStation. I doubt it, but one can dream. But I think that's what they're moving towards, is just having that ecosystem, which is what they've been pushing. Because I mean, even like this presentation in total wasn't about the Xbox itself at all. Really, it was just, this is Game Pass. These are the games we have coming. These are about our first party studios. The console was rarely mentioned. And even after the fact in interviews, I was on with Aaron Greenberg, because of Alana Pierce, and she asked, why should we be buying this console? And he totally dodged the question. And he just started referring to Game Pass. And I'm like, so they're not concerned about console selling. So I think Game Pass, they're going to keep pushing this Game Pass thing. The Xbox will be there for people who want the better graphics and the newer games and stuff. But once they get this xCloud up and running, I think they're going to be pushing that a lot harder than there will be any console. Sure. Yeah,
I think you're right. Like I guess in our like circles, I'm probably a minority in the fact that like I don't have a PC and I don't play on PC, so I will be getting a Series X day one. But I talk to people and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to play on Xbox." It's like, "Cool. Do you own a PC?" And they're like, "Yeah." It's like, "Cool. Then you can play all these as well." Like, I think once that starts to kind of make its way into like everyday people, not just people who are kind of aware of the gaming news cycle, more people will realize like, oh, Xbox is like a platform now. Yeah, you can buy the console if you want to play, like you said, like the best graphics and on the couch on your TV, but you can also play on PC. You can pay for Game Pass and just play xCloud. Like, I'm sure there'll be those people eventually that only play on their phone or their iPad or something like that.
Yeah, the mobile market's huge too, and if they can break into that with this as well, it'll be massive. Like, they'll get so much from that alone.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, could you imagine just going out and playing, Forza while you, go for a quick race while you're, on the train going to work or whatever.
That's exactly what I plan on doing.
Yeah, I know. Just bring it to Australia. Do you think in the next 12 months we'll see it in Australia?
I think we will. I think we will, and I don't think that we have to leave it that long, because you've got to expand your market. I think maybe they're still in beta testing, if that makes sense. They're still testing those main markets to get it working properly. I mean, it's tough. Australia's internet's so unknown. I think once we've really got full 5G here, I think they would definitely come in, because why wouldn't you? That's going to be better than most of the NBN. So, hopefully. I mean, I think 5G is supposed to expand this year, so I would say within 12 months or so, I wouldn't be surprised to see it come here.
Yeah, it'd be awesome when it does.
I'm about the same. About a year and a half after full launch, I think we'll kind of see it move out to here in the more difficult countries with less internet infrastructure. Be the way to go. I guess I can wait.
Yeah, fine.
It's fine.
I won't play Forza while I'm taking a shit. Fuck.
I mean, if they could get it working on a Wi-Fi connection, and then we just had to deal with that until they could go, all right, now you can do it free roaming, I'd be totally fine with that. If that was a limitation we had to have because of the internet we have. And it's you can only play on a Wi-Fi connection, similar the way the PlayStation 1 works at the moment.
Right,
PS Now, is it? Yep.
Yeah.
You can only really play on a Wi-Fi connection, so that I'd be okay with that kind of middle ground until they kind of figured out how to deal with Australian internet.
Well, even Steam's got that, where you can play your Steam games over an internet connection, and it works fairly well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because we don't have PS Now in Australia, do we?
No, not yet.
No.
And not Stadia, and not X.Cloud. We got nothing.
We don't get any of the fun toys, man. It's not fair.
Sorry, no one wants Stadia anyway. Okay, so Psychonauts 2, we got a bit of a trailer featuring Jack Black as a mote of light, apparently. That was something. I never played the first one. But, I mean, this looks cute and colourful and very odd.
Creepy as hell.
Creepy as fuck, yeah. Do you guys play the first one, Scopic?
No, I haven't played Psychonauts. No. So there's another one, sort of another game, so that's on my list. But I mean, that's the great thing. I think going back to what we were just saying before is I haven't personally played it, but more than likely I'll give it a test because it'll be on Game Pass. It's great.
Yeah, for sure. Puppies, you played it?
Yeah, no, I'm the same as Scott. I haven't played either of them. This one looked a lot of fun though, and again, Game Pass. I'm like, yeah, I'll look at that. I mean,
Exactly.
I think that's the brilliant thing about this whole service is like, there's all these games, and they may not necessarily be for you, but you have the option to try them and go with no investment.
Yeah. 100%.
And go, I like this, and I think it's really cool on the Xbox app. I talk about this all the time, and now they've got it on Twitter as well, where on the Xbox app, on the PC, you can press a button and it'll randomly recommend a game to you, which is fun. And then on Twitter, you can hashtag. I think it's the Xbox ANZ account.
Yeah,
and then you put there's a select amount of emojis you can use. You put a controller or a computer first, and then the type of game, and it'll randomly recommend you a game. And I think that's really, really cool. It's just, it's not. It's just a really cool feature that can help you find some really interesting games if you're looking for them.
And I think that's the beauty of Game Pass, in the sense that you can go and try a game. If it's not for you, you don't feel like oh man, I've just spent $90 or $100 on this game, and I've either it's been past 7 days, so I can't return it now.
Yeah.
I've got to go and trade it in because I don't really like it, or whatever. But you can play a game and go, oh yeah, that was alright, but you don't feel like you don't feel like you're out of pocket in any sense of form.
Exactly.
It's fantastic.
I've tried so much stuff on Game Pass, and some things I play for 5 minutes, I'm like, no, I hate this, and then other things I've finished and I'm like, that was amazing. I never would have even known about it if it wasn't for Game Pass. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. And we're good. Okay, so Destiny 2. Big news. Microsoft and Bungie are buddy again. It looks like after years of Activision and Sony having a really tight relationship, now that Bungie are on their own, they seem to be making some deals with Xbox, and Destiny 2 and all of its expansions, including the new one, which is coming out in November, are all going to be on Game Pass. You guys play Destiny?
From time to time. It's
I played bucket load of Destiny up until Forsaken. I didn't play Forsaken, but I just jumped back in over the weekend and just started playing through Forsaken again.
Sweet.
And absolutely loving it, actually. I've always really enjoyed Destiny. It's just I get distracted by new games, so yeah.
Yeah, sick. I think that's pretty big news. And like Destiny 2, I played Destiny 1, fell off it after like the main campaign, and didn't really go back for a lot of endgame stuff. But it being on Game Pass, this is the whole thing again, right? Like, I might actually play this and give it a shot again. It's
actually pretty big news. Like, I think this one got overlooked quite a bit, because I mean, it's Destiny 2 is a free to play game.
Yeah.
The last year, it's been seasonal, which is a lot of people haven't enjoyed. I know myself, I dropped off when they started doing the seasonal content as opposed to the DLC kind of stuff. But if that's all going to be included with Game Pass, and Destiny 2 is talking about crossplay really soon as well.
Yes,
and they already have cross save, so it's gonna be interesting to see how that, because I mean, I know Sea of Thieves is now on Steam. You can buy that separately. It's still crossplay, it's fine. So will people be just playing it out of the Microsoft Store on PC now?
That's a really
really cool. You can. It's going to be their first one. It's going to be one of their big ones for xCloud as well. And given Bungie's experience with Stadia, they kind of have a knowledge of the platform and how that kind of works for their game. So they already have that kind of baked in.
True.
I think this is huge. Like, it's gonna be really good. I think if it works well and Destiny's newest release is really good, I think this would be a massive win for both Bungie and Microsoft.
Oh, 100%.
In terms of showing off the tech well as
that could see a huge new audience come into that too. Game Pass, crossplay, just combining all the everyone that's already playing Destiny 2 and then a whole bunch of new people jumping in and having everything to go through, that's insane.
Yeah.
I think crossplay is the key with something like Destiny, and especially with it coming to Game Pass, because everything Microsoft is crossplay between Xbox and PC. If Destiny are now you can do that here as well with Game Pass, and all Steam players and all PlayStation players, man, that is just going to propel the series along more than it already is, which is awesome. And I'm stoked for Bungie, even though I'm not interested in Destiny that much. If there's this massive community and it gets a whole bunch of new players in, because I think that's one of the biggest things that's kept me away from it is the coming into what is essentially an MMO and starting from scratch is a huge undertaking. But if there's big community of new players as well, there's potentially a lot of people in the same boat.
Yeah, it's got a great story to it too. So it's definitely worth playing through a lot of those campaigns.
Yeah. Which is the one thing I didn't really like about the base game of Destiny 1 was the really crap story. I was just what is this? This isn't Halo. Another really classic PC game shown off, which as soon as I saw the shots of the Ferris wheel at Chernobyl, I was this has got to be S.T.A.L.K.E.R, right? S.T.A.L.K.E.R 2 is coming to PC and Xbox Series X. Again, I don't know if this even had a release year or anything, but that's really cool. And apparently they announced this a couple of years ago, which I didn't know, but it was really early in development or something like that. This could be really cool. PC gamer boys, have you played S.T.A.L.K.E.R?
No, but the opening shots of this gave me Call of Duty vibes. Wait, is this Call of Duty? The Ferris wheel cave is that one level. I'm oh my god, really? Call of Duty on here now? Because they did move it to PlayStation. They can't make up their mind. I hadn't heard much on S.T.A.L.K.E.R, so I'm interested to check it out, see what it's about.
Yeah, the first one was it's I think you're in the Chernobyl kind of nuclear zone, but there's real mutated creatures and all that kind of stuff. It's the people who a lot of people who did S.T.A.L.K.E.R moved on to Metro, so you can see kind of where that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Yep.
Righto.
And it was very very deep, mechanics and stuff, and it was very cool. But it was I'm pretty sure PC only game, and to see that that's coming to Series X, I think is really really cool. Now I'll note that I'm pretty sure this and the next few games or next two games they call them console launch exclusives, but I think in Xbox terms that just means timed exclusives, because I think eventually they will come to PlayStation, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Their wording's weird. Because
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That I interpret it the same as you. It would be a timed exclusive, so we get it for a month or so, and then it got released for all the other platforms.
It didn't, yeah, because when they put it across, it was console launch, not console exclusive. It's console launch exclusive. So you would tend to think that, yeah, the launch of the game is going to be exclusive to that console.
Yeah, which is
Hopefully. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. Sorry, go on.
Hopefully, it's only like a month or something, or not long. Like, I mean, we're looking at like Epic's exclusivity on a lot of games where it's a year, and it's just too much. Like, it's a bit over the top. Like, if it's like a month or whatever, that's fine. You know, get down there first. But you want to, especially for the developer, you want to be getting it in many hands on as many platforms as possible, especially if it's a multi-platform game. I don't want to see that exclusivity too long because, I mean, yeah, sure, it's good, but in the long run, it just hurts people that can't get the game. So
yeah, I agree. Like, what is it? Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo are apparently timed exclusives on PlayStation. It's like, that sucks because I really want to play those games, and
Same with Final Fantasy VII.
Yes, for a year, right?
yeah.
Yep.
And the relationship with Square Enix, like, I get that, I guess, because they've always kind of had a really close relationship. But Bethesda publishing games and them being timed exclusives seems odd to me for PlayStation. And then, yeah, like S.T.A.L.K.E.R and the next game, which is Warhammer 40k Darktide, like those being console or timed exclusives as well. It's like, it's a practice I don't really like that much. And Warhammer 40k Darktide, I don't really know much about, but potentially it's like
there's been a lot of Warhammer games lately.
Oh yeah, hasn't there?
Vermintide.
Yeah, they've been coming out of the works everywhere.
I think this is going to be like Vermintide 2 in the kind of Left 4 Dead style horde, you know, co-op stuff, which is fine. Like, I'm never really been a Warhammer fan, so it's like I probably won't even.
Yeah, I tried Vermintide 2 and I couldn't really get into it.
Yeah.
Again though, the wonders of Game Pass.
Wonders of Game Pass.
I'll look at it.
Yeah. Next one's a weird one, but I'm definitely going to play this when it comes out on Game Pass. Tetris Effect Connected. Tetris Effect, I think, was very cool when it first launched. Again, for PlayStation. I thought it was published by PlayStation, but I guess not. Now they're bringing some weird multiplayer component to it. So God knows how that'll work.
They had Battle
they
Royale.
They have the Tetris BR, so I mean, anything's possible.
True. I thought that was what that was going to be for a sec when they showed like the 3. I was like, oh god, is this Tetris 99 but Tetris Effect? I think Tetris Effect looks very cool though, very like zen game with its awesome music and visuals.
Yeah, 100%.
Moving on to the Gunk. Do we have thoughts on the Gunk?
It looks cool. I don't know what it is, but it looked cool. I think
some of these have just gone straight out of my memory.
This is the one with the like.
Oh yeah, the Gunk. Yes, actually, that looked really cool.
Yeah. What a great.
That looked really cool.
What did the?
It's really good to see lots of cartoony kind of games coming out where we're moving away from that ultra realistic graphics to like some really kind of fun themed games as well. I noticed that a lot. I mean, like things like Psychonauts and the Gunk, where it's not realistic in any way, shape, or form, but it looks just like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Everwild as well is another one where, you know, it's totally different style, but it still looked absolutely amazing.
Just looked at it, it says it's coming next year.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Does it say who the developer is? Because it said they made something
developed by
else.
Thunderful.
Oh,
Thunderful.
No idea.
Who are most notably known for its work on the SteamWorld series.
Ah, yeah, SteamWorld. Okay, cool. Yeah, which people like. I've never played, but yeah, it looks cool. Like, really, you're right, stylized, but really, like, good graphical style. It's not like it's low poly or, you know, low detail. It's just that cool stylized cartoon style. It's like, what was that one they showed at Sony's Kenner? That looks stunning.
Yeah, same kind of deal. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Okay, this one I'm becoming more and more interested in is The Medium from Bloober Team. Xbox are clearly really pushing this as, I assume, a launch title, because it keeps saying holiday 2020 and it doesn't have a release date, so I assume it's going to come out pretty much on the release of the console. With its dual reality gameplay, looked pretty impressive, running kind of two worlds at the same time.
It was kind of a weird flex, though.
Yeah.
It's like dual reality being processed at the same time. So wait, okay, it's cool. You're switching between realities. Everything changes. It's going to be interesting to see how that affects gameplay, or if it does. I mean, I'm hoping it does.
I assume it's just like the main hook.
It's going to be lame.
Did you see this?
Yeah, it'd have to be.
Tweet today. They said that how they've made it, they've actually put a patent on how they've made the game because it's unique, apparently.
Wow.
Oh, nice. That's really cool.
That is
cool. This trailer, the first time I saw the first trailer we saw for Medium, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But this one hooked me a lot more. It was very intriguing. This definitely hyped me up for it a lot. I wasn't even about it the first time we saw it, but this one's kind of...
Me neither.
Okay, I know. I can see where this is going. This is cool. I like it.
I'll definitely try it out, but I'm so bad with like scary games.
Oh, me too. I am fucking I am the biggest baby when it comes to horror. I know, my missus was like, oh, I really want to play this, but we're both just like the worst when it comes to horror, and we're like, we'll play it together.
I'm the total opposite. Horror games just don't phase me at all.
Right.
Yeah.
I stopped playing Outlast because I got bored with it. I'm like, okay, I'm sick of looking around the dark now. I'm done.
Oh, well, lucky you there.
Yeah. I'll brave it for you guys. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what it's about.
I gotta see this in action.
Night's sleep.
Yeah, I'll get up first thing in the morning. That's when I'll play this game. Like, not at night time,
exactly,
daytime,
middle of the day, curtains open, lights on,
people sitting in the room.
yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you guys played Dishonored 2, but it really like reminded me of that mission in Dishonored where like you have the mirror and you can see into the past. And then you can like jump into the past and like say a door might be shut in the present. You use your mirror and you can see like, oh, that door's open. You jump into the past, walk through the door, and there's like guards coming. You jump back to the past. Jump back to the present. This kind of reminds me of that because it seems like they're in Dishonored. I don't know how they rendered like, you know, those jumping of scenes, but there was no loading or anything. It was just, you know, you press a button and you're in the past.
I had a similar thing in Titanfall 2. There was a mission where you were kind of flicking between past and future, and it depended on like you'd have to like even mid jump, you'd have to like jump, flick from past to future, run on a wall that wasn't there before, and then flip back. It was absolutely mind blowing. Yeah. But
can I just
games that take really good advantage of that are phenomenal.
Can I just say Titanfall 2 I feel is like one of the most underrated games.
Yes.
It was fantastic.
I think everybody agrees with that.
It's such a shame that it got snubbed by EA on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that is the dumbest story in the history of video games, if you ask me. Like, what the fuck is wrong with EA? Like,
fucking played themselves. Well done.
I know.
It's all part of, like, retrospect now. It's all part of their plan because they wanted Titanfall 2 to do shitty so they can make Apex Legends, not Titanfall 3.
Yeah.
That's why we hit. That's why we don't have Titanfall 3. I hate it.
He's onto it.
So just quickly on the Medium too. Quick question. I think I heard that right. The game, like, because with the dual playthroughs, they said both sides is rendering at the same time. So like everything's all happening at exactly the same time, which is awesome.
So would that mean that if you switch back, enemies in the other reality would still be moving around where you were?
I think so.
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Yeah, that could make some interesting moments. Especially if you're evading someone and you like to suddenly disappear, and then they keep looking around, and so you've got to try and figure out where they're going to be or what they're doing before you pop back in and get caught.
Yeah, 100%.
That could be cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is obviously going to show off like the prowess of the Xbox Series X in that sense, that if you've got basically two levels like loading at the same time, if that makes sense,
Yeah, and I think this is one that they're probably thankful that they're partnering with Bloober. It's kind of a second party deal. I think their Xbox are publishing it potentially, because they can get Bloober Team to make a Series X exclusive at launch, whereas their first parties, are kind of locked into supporting the old console as well, but they can still show off the power of the new console with partnerships, which is great. I think people are going to want to see what makes this console special. Sony look like they're just going all in on the power and the new features and the new gameplay design, and so it's good that at least Microsoft are partnering with people who can do that, even though Bloober aren't the biggest team, but they kind of seem to be hit and miss. But I think
if they're getting that back, I mean, a lot of smaller teams, if they're getting that backing, it's really going to help push them forward. I think that's what the bigger advantage of partnering with Microsoft like this is they're getting that extra backing, that financial support, the extra manpower to pull from other studios if they need it, and all that extra talent that they can really kind of focus on making the game that they wanted to make in the way they envisioned it without having to make too much in the way of compromise.
Yeah, agreed. And aren't they saying too, a lot of developers are saying that financially they're doing way better with Game Pass because people are playing their games more, and then if it leaves Game Pass, people are purchasing the game because more people are trying games out.
Yeah,
there's been a few other stories that have been the total opposite of that too, where people it hasn't really done much for me. It seems to be a lot of independent games that do really well. I think there was a mountain bike riding one that was one of the largest stories.
Descenders,
great game.
He said, out of the recommendations, people are recommending it to friends from playing it on Game Pass, and they're either buying it or getting Game Pass, and it's kind of having a knock-on effect.
Yeah, my son plays that all the time. It's constantly on playing Descenders. Yeah,
it's an excellent game. It's one of the game that I just keep on my console all the time, because if I'm just I need a game where I'm just relaxed, I'll just play Descenders for a bit, even though it can get very stressful. But it's just so chill, and it has a great soundtrack, and it's just very, very peaceful game to play. I really, really enjoy it, and I think there are games, especially indie games, that you may love it and it's $25 and you're like, well, now I'm going to buy it even though it's still on the system. I bought Ori because I wanted the collector's edition, even though it's on Game Pass, and I had it preloaded, so it was ready to play as soon as it was available, but I still bought the collector's edition of it because I love that series, and I love the artwork and stuff, so I wanted the art book. So there are, those instances where people will, even while it's still on the service, just go out and kind of buy that game, and obviously telling people about it, because if there's tenfold amount of people playing it, there's going to be more people suggesting it to friends. So I think that it's a huge win for indies especially.
Oh, 100%. And I think with the whole COVID thing going on at the moment too, Game Pass is going to be even more favorable for people. You can't, that might not be able to go forward to pay $100 for a game at the moment. If it's a brand new launch on Xbox Game Pass, well, they'll be like, oh, fantastic, I can check that out. Halo, for instance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Having the first party titles on those, it's the biggest straw. I mean, you have Gears 5. I had that preloaded, ready to go, and
same.
Then we got Halo coming out, and lots of others coming out. That it's going to be there, and people are going to have it preloaded. I mean, people could do that anyway if they bought it for digitally anyway. But it helps sell the service a lot. It's kind of those big draw features to get you in there, and then start looking. Oh, since I've got it, let's see what else is here, and that's where the kind of knock-on effect happens, and you're playing this game you've never heard of by a developer you've never seen before in your life. You're like, this is really cool. I like it.
And I
100%.
I totally imagine that the Halo community is just going to be huge when Infinite comes out, because so many people are just going to be like, oh, a new Halo, fuck yeah. And there's going to be people on Steam because it's coming out on Steam. There's going to be people on, Game Pass on PC or console. It's just going to be massive community. So I think multiplayer for that game will be like so good, especially at launch, because everyone will just
it'll
be
have
playing
some legs on it for sure.
Hopefully,
quick question that you
it.
mentioned multiplayer there on Halo. Do you think we'll see Halo VR?
Please no. Please no. I'd love to see more of the Warzone stuff that came with Halo 5. That was really fun. I used to get on with a bunch of clan buddies, and we'd just slam that out for nights on end. It was great. I'd like to see that make a return, especially since we're going the whole crossplay route. There's going to be even more of a player pool. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hope they stick to their word when they said the only BR in Halo is the battle rifle. That was a couple of years ago now, but I hope if they do something large scale, that it is more like Warzone, where it's like team based. If they're supporting it long term, you never know, they might have an event. Oh, there goes my cat. They might have an event or something.
They've got this open world to play with now.
True.
So could they just be like, all right, this section of the map will be open? I doubt it. Or they'll just take a section of the map and go, all right, everyone can travel here in multiplayer matchmaking, and there'll be a special event where we're doing this thing. You can earn some stuff for the game. I think that'd be really, really cool to see too. Kind of bringing a whole heap of community events in.
It'd be
hopefully
cool
their
if,
map they keep up with the map creation too, because
I
love the custom maps. They're great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think if they were to do that, something like Big Team Battle, but 64 players, or even 50v50 Big Team Battle, would be like a friggin' war. That would be so much fun, because I think half the fun of Big Team Battle is just those hectic moments where shit is just insane everywhere, and there's vehicles, warhogs just flying through and killing people at left and right, and vehicles in the air, and something with a large scale, almost like Battlefield, player count, but it's still a team game. I would love that. I'm not really interested in BR, but something big, large scale Halo conflicts would be super fun.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's a good point you make. I would like to see large scale Battlefield style. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
totally agree. Okay, we got a couple more to go. We have Phantasy Star Online 2. I think it was called New Genesis or something. It must be an update or something for the Series X. I'm not an MMO guy at all, but if you guys have any thoughts on this, say them now.
Nope.
I don't know too much about Phantasy Star, but I did see someone post up saying that it was early next year, and it's a graphical update.
Sure.
It's all being
So it's an Xbox One X enhanced kind of deal.
Yeah. So frame rates and all that kind of stuff, and a whole bunch more content being added in. So.
Yeah, because the game's 13 years old or something. It's been in Japan for.
It's been around for a while.
Forever. Yeah, cool. MMOs don't really do it for me. The game seems pretty popular in the East, but I don't even know if we're getting it here straight away. I'm not sure. Another one is another game that's really popular in, I think, Korea, maybe China, is Crossfire X. But this is more so of a campaign trailer, which is being made by Remedy, which is pretty wild.
It looked really interesting.
Yeah, it did.
That one piqued my interest, yeah.
Remedy make great stories, and usually their own worlds and new IPs, but seems like such a strange choice. But the story should hopefully be really interesting, especially for a first-person shooter. I think more actually well-designed stories for shooters is I love that. I much prefer that to some generic Call of Duty.
Here's the bad guy. Go find bad guy. Shoot bad guy. Yeah, you good guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Be a bad guy for a while and no, you're a good guy again. This, interestingly, Crossfire X multiplayer will be coming to Game Pass, but the campaign will not be. So you'll have to buy that as a standalone game. This is one of the only things in the show. I think Crossfire X is coming to Game Pass, but it's free anyway. So I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's similar. Yeah. Free to play. They're just doing a story add-on for it that you can buy, which is fine.
Yeah, and I think this is Microsoft's partly publishing the campaign.
Right.
Not 100% sure about the nuance of that, but yeah, sure. I mean, Remedy's games are really great, so hopefully their storytelling in this is good too. And finally, what was such a great... I'm glad they really did like a and one more thing moment, and we kind of all knew it was coming, but my God, it couldn't have been any more hype-inducing. Just that, that British humorous take. I was a bit concerned leading up to this, I wonder if Playground will, if they are doing Fable, I wonder if they will keep that tone that is so Fable, and 10 seconds into the trailer when the fairy gets eaten,
they definitely have.
They are indeed. Yeah, that was so exciting. Are you guys Fable fans of the past ones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I played 2, not 3. I played 1 and 2, but not 3.
Yeah.
But really, really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Definitely been keen for another one.
I played all of them, but I'd definitely be keen to play through them again. I loved them. They were fantastic.
Yeah, I never played 1. I absolutely loved 2 and 3 though. I know 3. Some people are, a bit. There she goes again. 3 people are a bit harsher on. I think. My partner just played through it again, just recently, and it's a pretty decent game. It has that great, style, and it's such a different take on fantasy that I'm super excited for this. And being not a numbered sequel but a full reboot, I think they've just got kind of open opportunity to make it whatever they want in a really cool universe.
100%. Yeah, it's definitely worth playing the first one because it got remastered, the enhanced edition. So it was fantastic. I loved 1.
Three's one I never got around to, but now that this is there, I'm I might go pick up 3
and it's not
give it a go just before this comes out and get me in the mood.
Yeah. It's not stupidly long either. It's it's maybe 30 hours or something like that, but it's not super bloated, and you could probably smash it in a couple of weeks. But maybe I will play Fable 1 again. I loved Fable 2 so much, and I really hope they keep things like the way your character actually changes over time if you choose to be good or evil. That was such a cool thing in number 2. Mm-hmm. You end up glowing, and you have wings if you're good, and you have devil horns and shit when you're evil. Such an awesome component. I'm really
I mean the player choice has to be there.
Absolutely.
Hopefully they can maybe it'll have a larger effect on the world too.
Yeah, that would be awesome to see.
Because I know with total unrelated or kind of unrelated, but Dying Light 2, where they're talking about having your choices, each choice directly affecting the world, and if you change kind of keel, the world will readjust. I think seeing something like that would be really cool. I mean, I'm not saying that they should have the Nemesis system in there, but something similar would be really cool as well. So if you you piss someone off, they'll come back and kind of hunt you down. It'll affect you later on the story. I think that'd be brilliant.
Yeah,
I reckon the Nemesis system is probably one of the best things to come to video games in a while too. That was something.
Yeah, definitely.
So damn good.
So good.
Seems so underused as well. I'm surprised more developers
Hardly
haven't
anyone does it.
put it into their games. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a cool like system, and yeah, that'd be awesome in something like Fable. I really like. I can't wait to even see something as simple as like, do you get to like have a job, like go and do jobs like you do, like pouring beers and blacksmithing and stuff like that. Are they going to do that kind of thing and lean right into the previous games?
Yeah.
I'm also just so stoked that, for one, Fable, assumedly it's going to be third person because all the other ones are. All their job listings on their website are like open world, which I think is pretty good way to take the series. It's going to have that comedy. It's going to be third person. It's going to be fantasy, but it's a little bit steampunky as well, a bit of Fable. But then something like Avowed is like super, as far as we can tell, like dark fantasy, first person, very serious tone, and having that like dichotomy of two AAA RPGs that are very, very different, like both in fantasy worlds. That's like super exciting for the future of RPGs for Xbox. I think it's like, I'm so pumped.
100%. I know there was a rumor going around with Fable. Like a lot of people were saying something about it being an MMO, but I'm pretty sure that got squashed.
Yeah.
I
mean, interesting to see some kind of multiplayer, maybe, but like a co-op drop in, drop out, possibly.
Yeah, because I had that in 2 and 3, definitely in 2, which was fun. You could like just cruise around with your friend in their game, which I think that'd be great if they brought that back, because that'd be super fun. But I highly doubt it's an MMO. Sorry, Scopic, go on.
No, I was just going to say, like, we're seeing with all these games, like what we've like went over, like you've got Halo now Infinite, Forza, not having the number, now Fable just being Fable. Do you think this is where video games are headed now, where we're just going to see more like open-ended stuff, like the game comes out and we just keep getting stories added to it rather than Fable 1, 2, 3, etc. coming down?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I think with Fable, I think this is more of a God of War situation, where they're like, this is just my opinion on it anyway. I have no idea if this is true or not, but I would assume this is more of a like rebooting the series, taking all the lore and making a new story out of it, but not continuing, because they could have made it Fable 4, but at the end of Fable 3, it was kind of getting into the industrial era. So, this looked way more fantasy-like and, kind of medieval almost. So I think
this would be earlier on, closer to like 1's time period,
potentially,
even earlier, possibly.
Yeah, and there's been rumors that there's going to be time travel, which I don't know. Is that even viable in this kind of game? But maybe if that's true, maybe that has something to do with like, going back to, a previous time in the Fable universe, but that's pretty far-fetched if you ask me. But I think...
Interesting.
I don't think time travel would really fit. I mean, they could make it
apparently,
work.
Apparently they can like manipulate time in the Spire or something like that. I don't know all the lore, but there is like time manipulation stuff in Fable, but yeah.
I'll be interested to see what way they go with the like the artwork and all that kind of stuff. Whether it'll be that typical Fable look, or whether it'll be more like along the lines of the trailer.
Yeah, really good point. I don't think it will be as stylized as the old Fables. I think we saw some potentially character art from Fable a few months back, and it was not like hyper realistic, but much more realistic looking than the very stylized, almost cartoon style of the previous games. And the trailer, you're right, like definitely looked more realistic than Fable has previously.
Yeah.
It'll be
Hopefully, it's a good mix. I mean, I love the cartoony, love that style too. Fable. I think it's great, and it really suits the story and the theme of the world of like what's going on and how the stories are told. So I think if they went that more realistic kind of vibe with it, it might feel a little bit out of place too.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see more and see where they take it, because it's one hell of a franchise.
Yeah, Playground does a fantastic open world, so you know, it'll be
yeah, and they've been like
well done regardless.
Really, it seems like they've been working on this for a while and kind of growing a really, really strong team from around the world, and like getting developers from all other studios who have experience doing this. So yeah, it's going to be huge, and another game that I assume is still probably 2 years away. Being Avowed only just got announced, and apparently Playground have been working on this for like a couple of years. We've been hearing rumors about it for a couple of years at least. I would assume this will be out before Avowed, and then Avowed later down the line. But there's like a lot of RPG goodness to get excited for, I think.
Oh, 100%. I'm so glad Xbox has done that too. Like was really hoping for that, because I think it's something that they've been missing since the 360 days.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, God, they had Mass Effect.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, Mass Effect is a fucking Microsoft published game, and then BioWare got bought by EA, and it's like, man, I want those days back. Like, and I mean, they've got In Exile too, which is crazy. Like, these 3 studios, 2 of them being like veteran RPG studios, and one of them being an excellent studio that's had nothing but hits with Forza Horizon, doing something completely different. But, I assume they're going to do pretty amazingly well. So, it's like Sony's got all these amazing third-person narrative games and open worlds as well. And then Microsoft's kind of got a lot of focus on RPGs. Like, I'm all for that. We kind of get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, we get a little bit of everything, which is great. Did we hear anything of speaking of development teams? Did we hear anything about the Collective this time around? I don't recall.
The Initiative.
The Initiative. That's it. Yeah, sorry.
We did not. Yeah, I thought the one more thing was
because I was kind of waiting for something from them, even if it was just hey, we're working on like just a title name or whatever. Similar to what we got with Avowed. So maybe that's something, because I know they said there's still more to come.
Yes.
So maybe that's something we'll see from them in that round. That'll be like their big draw for that particular conference.
Yeah, because there's.
But yeah, I was kind of shocked I didn't see anything from them.
I'm so keen to hear something from them as well. There's rumors that there will be an August show. Talking about hardware, maybe price and potentially Series S if that's real. And, they could be saving whatever the Initiative are doing for that show, just as like a, we've spoken about all this, hardware
demo
stuff, and then like, here's the Initiative's game, which I don't care what they're making, but if it is Perfect Dark, I think I'm going to die.
Yes, please.
So, it's
GoldenEye remake. Let's go.
Because what are they? They've still got Project Lockhart or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Which is maybe Series S or whatever. But yeah, Lockhart.
Yeah, and they did mention 100 Series X titles coming to the thing, which is obviously they're including most of the Game Pass games. But have they mentioned every single game that's included in that yet?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. No. Plus,
is that just meaning like the games that are on Xbox Game Pass are going to be the 100 titles, or? Because that's a big number to throw out there. Going, well, we're going to have 100, because they mentioned that towards the end.
It'd have to be Game Pass inclusive. You'd imagine. There's no way that they've got 100 new launch title games for this that aren't already done.
Yeah.
So I dare say these will be these will be Game Pass games that are ready to go. They'll have their update good to go to be
That's what I'm wondering.
better performing
More
on
like
Series X.
Updates and stuff. Yeah.
I think that's where they're going to be that's where they have to be pulling that number from, because that's a lot of new games coming out in a short period of time.
Yeah,
and like for a consumer, that could be really overwhelming. So if they're just the Game Pass titles that'll be ready to go day one, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
Xbox just comes out and goes, so every game we showed in the showcase, that's the launch title.
Oh my god.
No, don't do that to me.
Yeah, I've got enough games.
I go back to work full time. No. I go back to work full time soon. I don't have that kind of time for that.
Oh, I reckon. Yeah, I think also Compulsion haven't showed anything. In Exile are obviously about to launch Wasteland, but we don't know what they're going to be doing in the future. So there's still a bit to show from Xbox Game Studios. There's someone else I'm forgetting.
So who they got there? We saw 343. We saw World's Edge.
Yeah, World's Edge is Age of Empires 4.
Oh yeah, cool. Actually, I'm surprised we didn't see any more of that, to be honest.
True.
They were like popping it up. There was no Age of Empires 4.
Maybe because it's PC only, and they're like, they wanted to talk about console and PC. Not sure.
Maybe.
The Coalition.
I mean, most games were Series X and PC, so
yeah, true.
Didn't
Coalition
no, didn't see anything from them.
No, and
we saw something after the fact. I think they said that Gears 5 was going to have the update for it.
Oh yeah, okay. And you would assume they're working
that
on
wasn't
Gears
during
6.
the conference itself, but that was after the fact.
Yeah, they'd have to be working on Gears 6. And
Compulsion games.
Yeah, they're the one that they're a bit of a question mark. They haven't said anything since they've been acquired, and I was doing research for a video, and even they don't really have a normal jobs section on their website. It's like a forum, and there were a couple of jobs on there. This is 2018, and they have been filled 2 years ago or a year and a half ago.
Yep.
And there's just been nothing, and there's some talk about them doing a horror game. But yeah, we really don't know anything about Compulsion. And then it's Double Fine.
So Ninja Theories basically just said, we're still making Hellblade 2.
Hellblade 2.
And they're also working on
Project
Project Mara as well, which is a weird experimental thing.
And have they done any more with Bleeding Edge? I don't know. So that game sort of just came and haven't heard much more of it.
Died.
Kind of tripped onto the radar and fell back off again.
Yeah, that sucks. Oh well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who.
Yeah, no, they didn't even mention. I don't think I didn't see any mention of Bleeding Edge anywhere for. It's not long after launch. There was barely any reviews or anything for it.
It got hardly any reviews. That was so weird.
Yeah.
And they were advertising it, and then it was just nothing. Obviously Mojang, it's just all they have to do is ray tracing for Xbox Series X on Minecraft.
Xbox.
I'll tell you what, that looks incredible on PC.
Dude.
I was like, whoa. A whole new game.
I want to play Minecraft again if it looks like that, I'm like, all right, cool. Flight
Dude,
Simulator.
It just changed the game. It changed the game. It was amazing.
It's wild, isn't it? It's crazy that it's look at our tech demo for path tracing, global illumination. It's Minecraft, and it's wild. The glass, then putting. I think it was Digital Foundry putting a yellow piece of glass and then a blue piece of glass, and it creates green. Light reflected through. It's what the fuck? How does that even work? Yeah. Love that.
I think the cool part about that whole demo was that a couple of the build walkthroughs that they had, they were done by Minecraft community members that were really known for the building, and they said they've just given it to us and go nuts.
Awesome.
And some really insane. They've done some really cool things. Where there was one that was a water based build, and you walk in and out of the water and inside was all lit up and stuff, and you could see the glow through the water as walls and stuff. It was really, really cool.
So cool.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the studios, like Turn 10, Playground, Compulsion, Double Fine, Ninja Theory, World's Edge, Obsidian, In Exile, Coalition 343, Undead Labs, and then publishing, which is all the kind of second party stuff. So we've seen the majority of them, what they're working on, which is super exciting. What I guess final thoughts. Scopic, we'll go for you first. What was your overall thoughts of the showcase and the future of Xbox Game Studios and Xbox Game Pass?
Yeah, look, I really enjoyed it. I think it's fantastic seeing everything that they've got coming. I think, as you guys mentioned earlier, I mean, it's something that you've got to do anyway. You've sort of, got to still show off what you're working on down the track. Yes, admittedly, I would have liked to seen a couple more games with a little bit more detail in gameplay, but overall, really enjoyed it. And yeah, it being all on Game Pass just makes me very excited, for Xbox, because they've got some really amazing RPGs to come. Some really amazing games to come, and it's going to be all there. I think they're being very pro-consumer.
Absolutely, yeah, agree. Puppies, final thoughts?
Yeah, same. I enjoyed the show. It was a good show. It wasn't. I mean, I'm at a point with these shows now. I mean, it's probably coming from a point of cynicism, from looking at these critically. I wasn't blown away, but I was happy with what I saw. Halo, I liked Halo. It looked great. I like how Xbox are focusing on the future and these studios. I'm excited to see all these studios up and coming that they've just bought and putting them to work doing their own thing. Because I know last generation Microsoft was a bit slouchy on games. So it's going to be. I'm really excited to see where these developers take these new IPs and stuff. I really like seeing. I don't mind seeing sequels and really good sequels, but I'm really excited for all these new IPs that are coming out.
Same.
That's got me really excited. And I'm just loving the fact I'm watching Game Pass's value proposition just go up and up and up. And I'm like, where does this stop?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You're spot on. I love that we're seeing Fable come back. I love that Forza looks like it's going to be amazing. Halo continuation looks awesome. But new IPs, I love a good new IP, especially when it does well, like the Outer Worlds. The Outer Worlds is such a great, thing for the industry because it's completely new and it's awesome. And then to see, things like Avowed, the Medium hopefully is really great. Everwild potentially, whatever that game is, just looks like it has so much potential. So yeah, I'm all about the new IPs as well, man. I think it's very exciting. Well, we've gone, Jesus Christ, we've gone for an hour and 45 minutes. Let's wrap this up. Puppies, why don't you plug yourself and tell us where people can find you if they want to check out your streams or your podcast.
Okay, so you can find me on Twitter at Deft_Puppiez. You can also find me on twitch.tv/Deft_Puppiez. A few days a week, I'll be there streaming. You can also find my podcast if you search for Two Left Thumbs. Our Twitter for that is at @left_pod. You can find on most podcasting services.
Beautiful. Scopic?
Yep. So you can find me over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Scopic. On Facebook at I think it's fb.gg/ScopicTV. And also on YouTube, I chuck down reaction videos and unboxings, Scopic TV there as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me, guys. And thank you, everybody, for watching or listening to this episode of Controllers and Coffee. Jump into the comments if you're watching the YouTube version and let us know what you thought about the Xbox Games Showcase, and subscribe to the channel and go check out these boys on their their streams, their channels, their Twitters, and yeah, we'll see you next week for another episode. Bye-bye.